Joining me now is somebody we haven't chatted with in quite a while. Dino Wild from the band Red Voodoo. Dino, how are you today?
Good, man. Thanks for having me. See, we're both
Yeah,
wearing green today.
I
I know
I know we
it
got the
wasn't.
we got the memo. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny because there's actually a glitch with the program I usually use, which I usually use a green screen, but the green screen features what's not working. So I'm like, well, this is my excuse to wear a green shirt because I can
There you
never
go.
wear a green shirt, otherwise
Yeah.
I'll throw it away. And it's interesting because you and I tried to talk almost a month ago at this point, and it was
Right.
another time there was a problem with the program I use.
No
I
problems this time, you know?
you and I saw each other. Well, let's knock on wood for that one. So far, so good is what we can say,
There you go.
or knock on a coconut. Our visual audience can see that you're somewhere far more scenic than I am. So I'm
Yes.
glad
This
you're
is not a
outside.
green screen. This is I'm in the beautiful island of Kauai right now.
That's sounds like a wonderful place to be starting your day, especially
Yes.
in the morning. There, I really appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah.
So it's been a while since we talked, and I'll put in kind of the notes. I'll put links to the earlier conversations we had, and
Yeah.
it's been a few years. And the interesting thing is that when I talked to you the first couple times, you were so young then. You're still fairly young, but you've got a couple of rock and roll years under your belt. So,
Yes.
just generally speaking, how have the last few years gone for the band? And what's different now than maybe when we would have talked in 2021?
Yeah, from 2021 to now, there's just been a lot of growing with the band. In all aspects, in business, in songwriting, in just learning about the industry. It's so much different just from 4 years ago to now. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And it's a different landscape. When we really came on the scene, it was during the pandemic. It was such a weird time for everybody, where now we're finally getting our legs and really getting our feet off the ground, and uh, with this lineup really showing people, all right, we're ready. Let's punch it full throttle.
Right, exactly. And one of the things that we're here to talk about today is that you guys have a great new song called "All Night Long," and our audio audience will get to hear a little bit of it uh,
Yeah.
after our conversation. I always have to explain when I talk to musicians that I would love to play it right now on YouTube, but even though it's your song, if I play a song on YouTube, all of a sudden I get the YouTube
Flag.
suits. Yeah, the people in the suits and the YouTube skyscraper write to me like, you don't
Right.
own that song. I'm like, yeah, but
Right.
Dino does. So but
Yeah.
yeah,
Around
so
that.
it's yeah, but it's great because somebody can always just sort of click in. They can type in
Yeah.
Red Voodoo. They'll find your YouTube channel, and they'll be able to hear plenty more music that way. So, and there's an EP out, right? My
Yes.
understanding is that that's the one release that's out. Is the
Yes.
EP?
That
Yeah.
that is the one release, the debut. Recorded that in San Francisco with Sammy Hagar's producer 2 years ago. So now that it's out in the world, um, it's very, very, very cool, man. It's very fun.
Well, and I know one of the things that I talked to you about in the past is that the name Red Voodoo comes from a Sammy Hagar song of the same name. So getting to
Yes.
work with his producer must have been a treat for you guys.
Oh, it was so cool, and he's worked with a lot of different artists as well, other than Sam. Train, Nancy Wilson from Heart. The list just goes on and on with him.
Sure. Yeah.
Uh,
No. That's great. Yeah.
it was our first time recording in a legit studio, and we got to record in Studio A, and it was just very, very exciting and new for all of us, and just an experience that we will never forget. It was really fun.
Well, it's great. Yeah. And obviously, people can go to redvoodoo.com. They'll find
Yeah,
everything and all of your socials. I think it's, it is kind of a great way. I talk to a lot of musicians that,
yeah,
gone are the days of you want to talk about people in suits and skyscrapers, like whole departments that would help you get out there and promote a record. But now it's like I'm saying,
it's
like just
yeah,
click the link and you're going to get to hear the song. So
it's
in that way, it's a little bit easier to directly distribute. I'm sorry.
right, and I think like you were saying, I think like back then there was one way to make it,
Yeah.
and make it is such a broad word because everyone has their own definition of making it. But now it's like I can go on TikTok and make a video, and I have 500 people in one night listening to the song from just a video I posted on my phone. Like, it's like you
Yeah.
were saying, it's this night and day difference. Um, and that's for an independent band. That is the best way you can help, is just literally clicking follow, or literally sharing the video, or streaming the song, or telling your friend, because that's how the word gets around organically, and creates a buzz. Like what we're doing right here. You're giving the band an outlet here to get it out to people. So thank you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I've enjoyed hearing from the band before, and I think All Night Long's great. What was it about that song? Was it kind of an easy one? Like, okay, that's the one we're going to put out?
As far as the single goes, with the lyrics, All Night Long, it really, if you look at the lyrics, it's really what is going on. I'm describing what's going on with the band right now. We're in the trenches. We're playing anywhere we can, wherever we can, how long we can, just really hitting the ground running and getting out there. And it's kind of cool. It has like a classic rock feel, but it also works in an active rock landscape. you know. So that was a reason too, and it's just straight up rock and roll. There's no, crazy production on it. You know what I mean? It's just like what you see or what you hear on the EP or what you hear with All Night Long is exactly what you're going to hear live.
Right, which I think that's not always the case with a lot of bands. You would certainly have, and you could even look historically. Classic
Right,
bands that were great studio bands and good live bands. I
right,
mean
exactly.
that was kind of the knock on Aerosmith in the '70s, that they were this amazing studio band and that the live shows weren't great. But that's also because of some of the problems those guys had with getting on
Yeah,
stage, staying on stage,
that's rock and roll, though.
Yeah,
Back then, it's a little different
yeah.
now. Uh,
It's a little different now.
to have
Yeah,
a
yeah,
career, you kind of have to take care of yourself a little bit more.
yeah, just a little bit. Although, you know what, Keith Richards would disagree.
That's very true.
Because
I should sit down with Keith and figure out, hey,
yeah,
what are
oh
you
yeah.
drinking?
Whenever Keith passes away in 20 or 30 years,
You won't.
I
You're
hope he donate. I hope he donates his body to science. Be like, they got to
Oh
figure
yeah,
out what it was about him.
oh,
So
100%, 100%.
So obviously, you've got this many more years under your belt. What are some of the gigs that have been the most fun? Whether it's performing on a bill with somebody else, or I'm out on this stage where I've come many times to pay to see another band perform.
There's a couple. I'll just go through the highlights.
Yeah,
Probably the
sure.
big one that stands out to date is when, and I think we talked about this in our interview last time, if you remember. But my dad took me to see Sammy Hagar on the Circle in South Lake Tahoe. If you remember us chatting
Sure.
about this. Well, in 2023, Sammy invited me and the boys to open up for him at that venue.
Oh, it's great.
He did not know that that's where I saw him for the first time and where I got the idea to form Red Voodoo. So,
Yeah.
I got to be on stage and saying I was standing right there when I decided to do this. That was such a full circle moment for myself and my dad in the audience too. And it was just like freaking out. And that was a very cool full circle moment because Sammy didn't even know that, that was the venue where Red Voodoo really got the lights turned on. But we've been really fortunate to play with a lot of cool artists that we've honored, just have looked up to. We just played with Bret Michaels a couple weeks ago in Decatur, Illinois,
Oh,
opening up
that's
for
great.
him. He invited the boys and I up to do Sweet Home Alabama as a little encore. So we were up there with the Bret Michaels band hanging out. But probably the most influential one is Guy Fieri invited us to play his birthday party in a little town called Sebastopol, California. Super kind of hippie town, right? Well, we
Hmm.
pull up and we did a couple songs with Sammy, and Lars from Metallica was there. We got to meet Lars, and that was really, really cool. And we got to play a song with Brad Wilk from Rage Against the Machine. That was really cool.
Oh my, that all sounds great. That must have must have been a great time. It's funny you're talking about that South Lake Tahoe gig. So next week I'm going to Tahoe with my family. It's the same
Oh,
week we go every summer. So yeah, we were
right
there
on.
last summer,
What
and
tour
I
are you?
know what's that.
what shore are you staying on? North Shore or South Shore?
We're up at like a timeshare that my in-laws have. So we're like a
Sick.
good 20 minutes drive down. But
Right on.
I know the
Beautiful.
venue you're talking about. And I
Yeah.
remember that last summer it was months away. So it's not like I was but I saw a sign. I'm like,
Right.
oh man, Sammy's gonna be here. So
Ah,
he must love that gig because
he
he
does.
played it last fall. I know he did. And
Right.
here's the funny thing. I could be there next week and be like, oh, would you look at that? Sammy's coming back again.
No, I know, I know. That venue is so cool. The only thing that's a little weird about it, just in Tahoe in general, as a singer playing in Tahoe, is the altitude.
Yeah.
If you don't acclimate to it, and we didn't really have that much time to acclimate. But they have like oxygen tanks and everything for you. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's a fun challenge in Tahoe.
Yeah, no, I can manage. I can imagine, what a challenge that can be. I once saw Meatloaf in Las Vegas, and he
Yeah,
had vocal problems throughout his life, but
right,
he
right,
was just talking about like he's like he was doing this thing where he'd tell stories and then sing the songs. It was actually a great
right.
show because
That's cool.
he's a legend. But he kept
Right.
talking about like he's like, I'm sorry, I'm drinking so much water. I'm just trying to not get all dried out. And he
No,
sang great, but you could hear it when he talked. You're like,
yeah,
okay, yeah. So that's got to be tough, to
it's just one
just
of those.
try and.
It's one of those fun things. I remember we played a show. We were opening up Sammy's Palm Island in Las Vegas, like this
Mhm.
aquatic booze park is the best way I like to put it. But
Which is exactly what we'd expect from Sammy, by the way.
right,
A
right.
booze park. Yeah.
Yeah, there's lifeguards out there just chugging Coors. No, I'm joking. But no, dude, it's real because we opened up for ourselves. So we did our set, which was like 30 minutes, and then we were Sammy's backing band with Michael Anthony up there. And yeah, I got on stage for a song. I like chug a full water in between songs because I mean it just dries out your throat. But no, that was a fun show. That was another show. So I mean, we've been really fortunate now to make this connection with Sammy and Michael, and now we're starting to tour, on the East Coast and just building up to a full length album. We have our EP now, but right now we're kind of in the process of. We have about, I think, 25 songs, and right now we're just going through and be like, all right, which ones do we like? Sending it out to producers, that kind of thing. And just really want to take our time on this because we really want this first record, to be special for everyone and really evolve.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I think that that's obviously what you want to do. You don't want to, listen to something that you just did in the studio today and be like, "Yep, this sounds exactly like it would have if we'd recorded it in 2020." So.
Exactly. Yep.
And some of the people you're talking about, I've never had the opportunity to meet him, but just hearing him interviewed, like Michael Anthony, just seems like one of like the coolest, most real guys,
Dude,
and
he's so
yeah,
I,
and
the
it,
thing
it,
is
it
like,
sorry, go
oh,
ahead.
you're good. You're good. You take it. You take it.
It makes you question it makes you question those Van Halen brothers that they had some issues with him because I'm just like, Sammy never had a problem with him, and you're just like, yeah, he seems like such a great guy. But I'm sorry, finish the thought you were gonna have, Dino.
I actually forgot, so it's all good.
It's perfect. But you were talking about getting up with Bret Michaels, and that was something I wanted to comment on because
Oh yeah,
I went to that stadium tour a few years ago where it was Joan Jett, Poison, Def Leppard, Motley Crue, and yeah, everybody was great. But I will tell you that nobody had more fun than Poison, and specifically Bret Michaels. You would think
dude.
it was like his first time playing a stadium. He was just
Ever.
all over the stage. And by the way, you'd also think he's like 30 years younger than he is,
No, dude,
because
he takes care of himself, man, and
yeah,
it was very inspirational. Meeting him and seeing him and really being like, hey, man, we're gonna do more shows. And I was like, what? We're gonna do more shows? You know what I mean? Like.
yeah,
And we played in the middle of nowhere in Decatur, Illinois. If you've ever been there, that was a crazy time, and everyone there just loves rock and roll, and it was such an amazing time, and the people there were fantastic. But no, we're hoping. I know there's a Poison tour in 2026, in the talks in the works. So if there is a chance for a little band that is reminiscent of Poison to open up for Poison.
yeah. No, I mean that would be great. And yeah, I hadn't seen them. Last time I saw them was in like the early '90s, and
Yeah.
you wonder sometimes. You're like, okay, I haven't seen a band in like 30 years. Would they have lost a step? And I was like, again, like I said, I enjoyed all the bands in that show, but they were the most fun. And I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
they
for
they
sure.
they were like, we want everybody in the stands to have a good time.
Right,
And
and I think honestly, like when you come see Red Voodoo live, or you go see any band live, like you have to be the fun first. The band has to be the fun first, because then it tells the audience, okay, I could have fun, you know. Uh, because if you're just up there and you're just going through the motions, and you're like, man, that audience was not great. Well, yeah, it's
yeah.
because you were allowing them to have fun.
Yeah, and look, I can imagine it's a double-edged sword because I've gone to see bands
Totally.
and they're fighting with the audio guy. They probably hate somebody in their band, and I'm just
Right.
like, man, we can tell. We know
Right.
you're not having a good
Yeah.
night, and
Yeah.
it's like try
Yeah.
and have a good like 75 minutes, and then
Right.
you can yell at the guy who's didn't turn
Yeah.
up your monitor enough
Yeah.
after.
Punch
But
your bass player after the show.
well, back in the day, that's not the way that Poison did it. Actually,
Right.
sometimes it was get into a fight on stage, but
That's true. That's true. And
yeah.
I guess they leave the show still having fun because they got to see their favorite band beat
Yeah,
the crap
no,
out of each other.
exactly.
Right.
Um,
Right.
just because it just happened, I'm curious, did you get to catch any of the live stream of the final Black Sabbath,
Oh,
final Ozzy show? Yeah.
dude, we were the whole band actually were watching it. I bought it. We in our hotel room before we played in Chicago last week, and yeah, we watched the whole thing, dude. Jakey Lee coming out was insane. What was your favorite performance?
I mean, it has to be the four of them doing the four Sabbath
Yeah,
songs at the
of
end.
course,
Like
of
so
course.
much great stuff, and GNR sometimes is hit or miss. They were great that night.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
everybody that I saw sounded good, but yeah, it's tough to look past the fact. And Bill Ward with his shirt off, and he's like, yeah, yeah, I
Dude,
know.
that was a
He's
stud.
like, I know what I look like. Here I am. I'm the
Dude,
drummer.
yeah, it's like, right, right. You know what I took away from like a singing standpoint
Mhm.
is like I would never tackle an Ozzy song, and I like it really goes to show how hard Ozzy is to sing.
Yeah.
Because I feel like only Ozzy could really do Ozzy. And like you have some of the best singers, rock singers on the planet, and some are up there. It's like, dude, the melodies and just like it's almost like these songs were just made for Ozzy. No one else could do them. And it's true.
Yeah, no, I think that so many Ozzy songs, and I mean, look, not that there haven't been good covers over the years,
No, no.
but you can feel like it's work. Like I always loved
Oh, yeah,
the Faith No More War Pigs
yeah,
because and there's like different like levels of Ozzy. I feel like that's
right.
one that a few people have tackled. I can't remember. Maybe it was Cannibal Corpse. There's other bands that have done it,
That have done
and
it and put their spin
yeah,
on it.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, what a great night, and the fact that
So
because it was
awesome.
for charity, you and I could
Yeah,
just be like, oh, let's just watch it.
right,
Back in the day, that would
right,
have been like $100 pay-per-view, and
right. Yeah, Sharon's a genius, dude. Sharon is a genius.
yeah, that's true. And look, I mean, it's very well documented
Yep,
Ozzy's health problems, and
right.
she's like, I've figured out a way that we can do this.
No, it's
And
beautiful,
he
man. It
he
really
comes
is.
out of the stage in that throne, and you're like, this is amazing. Yeah.
Yep,
So
yep. It was
you
it
know,
was beautiful. I mean, that
I
was like rock and roll boot camp
Yeah,
for us.
I tend to not always believe when bands tell you they're doing their final tour and their final show, and you don't have to look any further than the lineup because Slayer played that day, and
Right,
I remember them doing a final tour, but they still do some
right.
shows. In the case of Ozzy, it's just like, yeah, I mean, I think we didn't think we'd even get this one,
No,
so
exactly,
yeah,
exactly. And you could really tell there was a lot of thought and a lot of care, and Ozzy was just having the time of his life up there, and that just made me so happy because he deserves it.
yeah.
I mean, he's the Prince of Darkness, dude, like the dude. So that was really awesome.
Yeah, and it's great when you have sort of like these big moments for rock that all come together. When they
'Cause
did
it
the
sheds light.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when they
it
did
sheds
those
light.
tribute shows to, Taylor Hawkins after he unfortunately passed
Yeah,
away, you can kinda get those moments, and,
yep, yep,
it's very easy for, somebody like Gene Simmons to say rock is dead and people to
yeah,
point at it, but it's like, no, you just it's just you're not bombarded by it. You don't turn on the TV and there it is, but
right.
if you like rock, there's more of it in
There's
more places to
right.
find it than ever before.
I mean, yeah, I don't like I've told a lot of people this, and this is what I think about it. Like, it's cool that rock and roll isn't as big as country or pop music because that's what makes rock and roll rock and roll.
Yeah.
It's like its own family and its own community, and that makes it stand out in itself. It doesn't need to be like right in front and center on a billboard. Because those who like it and listen to it, those are the people that really care. It's not just like a trend or a fad or a phase.
Yeah, it's the interesting thing because yeah, like rock now is, like punk in the mid 70s. You have to really
Right,
seek it out, it's
right, right.
uh, but yeah, and look, you have great bands like you guys are out there, and there are so many bands still putting out albums. Like
Yeah,
Cheap Trick puts out an album like every year or two. Alice
right,
Cooper has this amazing album with like the surviving members of his original band. That's
right,
just like a week away,
right.
and it's like there's a demand for it. You just have to kind of
Just gotta look.
present it in the right way. Yeah,
You just
like
gotta put in the work. And like social media is the biggest outlet for the band to just get us out there.
yeah, no, and exactly, and then it's the fact that you can like comment on the band's Instagram, and then you might respond to the comment, which is
Right.
great.
No, we do it all the time because like that's how you make the connection. People care, and
Yeah.
we care. We want to know. We want to talk to everybody.
Yeah, and as we're talking, you have a bunch of tour dates coming up throughout the
Yeah.
country, so people should just go to redvoodoo.com and they can find all of that.
Yes.
Really through the fall. What else are some of the plans? You've kind of referenced that you guys are working on a full length album. Is there a plan for sometime next year, or is it just
Yeah.
when we get there, we get there?
When we get there, we get there. Right now we're in the very early beginning stages of. We have our songs. Right now we're just performing these unreleased songs live. So come to a show, so you can kind of see which songs you like and which songs you don't. And that's how we're kind of gauging it right now, because if the crowd likes it on the initial live song, then we're like, okay, that one might be the single, that one might be on the album. But yeah, right now we're just really promoting the EP currently, and with our tour dates coming up, and getting out there and touring.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I was looking over your tour dates, and I'm just gonna miss you guys by a little bit because when we
Oh
drive up
man.
to Tahoe, we do a night in Sacramento, but you guys are like a week later. So, but
Where are you based out again? Where are you based out again, man?
I'm in Burbank, so in LA. Yeah, yeah.
Perfect. Okay, cool. We're actually working on some LA shows around the area.
Oh, that'd be
So
great because I
yeah,
first heard you guys so many years ago. You came on with Frank Hannon for the first
yeah,
time, and
yeah.
it feels like it wasn't that long ago. But when I'm putting the
No,
notes together for today, I'm like, oh, that was late 2020. So
yeah, dude. No, it's been really cool, and like since working with Frank was such an amazing experience. He's off with Tesla now, but he gave me the reins, and now I've been managing the band for the past 4 years, and everything. So it's been really cool. But we got to make a trip down. We're so close. We need to make a trip to LA and play the whiskey. I think we've been
yeah,
talking about
right,
playing the
exactly.
whiskey, and yeah, I see it right there.
It's yeah. Have you ever played there before? The
We
whiskey.
played there once. We
Okay.
did a tribute show for Sam there with a ton of other artists.
Oh, cool.
We want to play 2 songs, but we're going to do our own show at the Whiskey, supporting an act. Not sure which one yet, but that would be really cool. We're also looking to play again the Stage Red in Fontana, Sam's new venue out there.
Oh, in Fontana, like is it near
Fontana,
near the raceway?
yeah, near the
Yeah.
raceway.
Okay.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
that makes sense. So yeah, so that'll be great. Yeah, it's a great stage. The reason why I asked if you'd ever been there, it's like it is one of those like it's such an intimate setting. Like I
Oh, it
have
is.
I,
I
I
thought it
have
was.
I've never had an easier time. Like I kind of want to stand up against the stage, and it's not that hard to get there. And
Yeah.
even if you're in the back at the bar, you're still
Yep.
like so close
Well, hey,
to.
when we
Yeah.
play, and this is a promise because I'm saying it here, and I keep my
Okay.
promises. LA, well, wherever venue we're playing, I'll make sure to get you on the list
All right, I appreciate that.
for
That'll be
sure.
great.
Yeah,
It'll be
of
good.
course.
And then
Yeah.
and then whenever the next time we talk, which hopefully isn't 4.5 more years,
Nope, will
uh,
not be for.
I'll have the experience of getting to see you guys.
Yeah, that'll
So
be sick.
everybody should go to redvoodoo.com and all the social medias. I guess the social medias are Deco Entertainment, though. Is that correct?
Well, Deco is where our vinyl and the CDs are being sold. So go to there for
Sure.
that for the merchandise. But redvoodooband.com is where you can get everything on Red Voodoo, tour dates, news, links to all of our social medias, and that will just help out a ton.
Yeah, and the song All Night Long, like I mentioned, our audio audience will get to hear a little bit of it right after we say
Yes.
goodbye in a moment. And the video audience, you'll be able to find it. Just go ahead and
Well,
type it in there. It's out
yep,
there
yep.
on
It's
all
everywhere.
the. Yeah. Well, Dino, it's great to get to catch up with you. I do look forward
Thanks, man.
to getting to catch you guys live sometime. And
Yes.
since you're checking in right there from the middle of paradise, go have an amazing day. I don't think you
Thank
need
you.
me to tell you. I'm sure it's going to be a great day.
Hey, thanks, man. I'm gonna go take a dip in the ocean in a minute. So
That's going to be
thank you,
great.
my friend.
So
Thank you.
thanks
I
again
appreciate
to
the time.
yeah, thanks again to Dino Wild from Red Voodoo.